Welcome everyone to Doga Yoga. Today we're doing a beautiful, it's all about balance flow. So that means we're focusing on not only our more challenging balancing poses that we're going to be slowly integrating and building up to, but also balancing it out with some beautiful restorative, relaxing poses today. So we're going to start on our backs. I'll figure out how I'm going to get there with Merlin on my lap here. Come on, Bubby, you go to your bed. Come over here. Where's Teddy? On your bed. On your bed. Good boy. So we're going to lie down, good boy, on your bed. Connect the heels towards the earth, the soles of the feet facing towards the back of the room. Really notice the belly soften, the whole body start to melt and release. And slow down as we connect with the earth today. Take 5 deep breaths here, gently doing a body scan, noticing what's going on in the ankles, the calves, the knees, the thighs, the hips, the torso, all the way to the crown of the head. Inhale, fill the belly, the ribs, the collarbones. And exhale, release. When we're ready, we're going to send our hands high towards the sky. We're going to come into a nice little banana pose. So shift the hips towards the right, fingers and toes towards the left, and just find a beautiful side body stretch here. So inhale, feel the belly, the ribs, the collarbones rise. And exhale, release. Just soften with each passing breath, bringing length into the side body. When you're ready, come back to center. Reach the fingers towards the back of the room, the soles of the feet towards the front of the room. Scoot the hips over to the left and the hands and feet towards the right. Now beautiful, gentle, but very restorative side body stretch here. Bringing space and energy into our ribs, into our torso, into our shoulder today. So fill up the belly, the ribs, the collarbones on the inhale. And exhale, release. A few more breaths like this, gently waking up and letting go. When we're ready, come back to center. Reach the fingers towards the back of the room, soles the feet towards the front. And then we're going to fold in on ourselves. So bring one knee into our chest and then the other. Wrap our arms around our knees. Make ourselves super small. Bring the knees towards the forehead or the forehead towards the knees. Just take a little rock here, side to side. We're going to rock back and forward, using the legs to help gain momentum and come up into a seated position. If that's not comfortable for your spine, just make your way up gently into a seated position in your own way and in your own time. So you might have one leg extended here. You might have the block underneath your hips to help elevate them and get them above your knees. A little bit gentler on the hips. I'm going to place one hand on one knee, one hand on the other, and just find a beautiful straight spine here. Start to melt the shoulder blades down the back. Feel the neck lengthen as we fill up the body on our inhale. And exhale, release. When we're ready, we'll take one big arm circle all together, up overhead, fingertips touch. Exhale, bring our left hand to our right knee, our right hand behind us. Find a length in the spine. Exhale, revolve. Just ignore Merlin chewing his slow feeder bowl. On a side note, highly recommend them, super, super good. And when we're ready, we're going to reach our fingers high to the sky. And place our right hand on our left knee, our left hand behind us. Find length and revolve. Length and revolve. Gently taking our time, getting length, and then creating space and range of motion in each vertebra. When we're ready, come back to center. What have you got, Tara? What have you got? We're going to place our hands in front of us and make our way over into tabletop position. So come on over, gently as you need. Knees in line with the hips, wrists in line with the shoulders. We're going to drop the belly, open up the chest into cow. And exhale, really stretch the whole back body, chin to chest, tailbone tucked into cow. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Now really flow here. Take your time with these movements. Really warming up the spine today. We'll take one more big inhale, cow, and exhale, cat. Come back to neutral. Take the knees wide and come into child's pose. Big toes together, hips towards heels, fingers towards the front of the mat, and really release. We're going to lift our forehead, walk our fingers towards the left, and just sink gently. Beautiful, getting a stretch on that whole left side body. So just focus on the breath, the rise and fall to really open up here. When ready, we're going to pick up our fingers, walk them towards the center of our mat, and over towards the left, dropping the forehead down. Now the hips are still sinking towards the heels, the hips are still square towards the front edge of the mat. And the stretch is really coming from that hip all the way to our shoulder and beyond. So notice what comes up for you here. And we're going to lift our forehead, back to center, come up into our tabletop position. I'm going to steal this bowl really quick and swap it with Teddy. Thank you. Good boy. Teddy. And when we're ready, we're going to tuck our toes under, push our hips towards the sky, coming into our first downward facing dog. Inhale, find length in the chest towards the thighs. And exhale, release. Inhale. And exhale. A few more breaths here, just finding your dog today. You might want to walk the dog, bringing quite a bit of movement in to find your balance today. You might like to be still, starting to gently straighten the legs and the heels towards the earth. Or you might have your bent knees and just really focusing on getting the chest towards the thighs, sending the shoulder blades down the back. One more breath. And release. When we're ready, bend our knees, look towards our hands, pull back and take lots of little steps, or one big step, up into our forward fold. Hello, Baba. Inhale, come on up, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Rebound energy from the feet. Come on high to the sky. Big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch. And back to heart center. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're going to start our Vinyasa flow. Inhale, big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, come on up, tops of the fingers or tops of the knees, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands. We're going to go into a variation. Step the right hand foot back into a lunge. Open up the chest towards the front of the room. Plant the hands, step the left foot back into plank or half plank. Lower the chest down and then the hips down, untuck the toes. Press into the hands and come up into cobra. Lower down, tap the forehead. Make the hips come towards the heels into your child's pose. When you're ready, tuck the toes under, press into the hands and the hips high into our downward facing dog. 2 breaths, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now you can just lift this right toes off the ground a millimeter or kick this right heel towards the sky. We'll all get this right foot in between our hands once more. Opening up our lunge, beautiful collarbones opening, beautiful smile on our faces as we step this left foot back up to meet the front, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, your version. And exhale, fold, rebound energy, roll on up, super big arm circle, up overhead, fingertips touch and back to heart center. 2 breaths, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, 1 big arm circle, up overhead, fingertips touch. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, your version. And exhale, fold, bend the knees, plant the hands, step the left foot back into a lunge. That knee can be down or up. Plant the hands, come into plank. Lower the chest down, then the hips, untuck the toes, come up into cobra. And exhale, lower. Make your way into your child's pose in your own time. Really release. And when we're ready, tuck the toes under if they're not already. Press into the hands and the hips high into downward facing dog. 2 breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Plant weight into your right foot. Lift your left heel to the high. I'll just play with lifting these toes off the ground a little bit. And wherever we are, we're gently going to get this knee towards our nose and get this foot in between our hands however we can. We can have this back knee down if we need. We're going to open up the chest, open up the collarbones, nice big smile towards the front of the room. And in our own time, we're going to step this back foot up to meet the front. So you can lift this knee up, take 1 big step or lots of little steps into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, your version, tops of the fingers or tops of the knees. And exhale, fold, bend the knees, roll on up, super big arm circle, up overhead, fingertips touch. Back to heart center, 2 breaths, length. And soften, length, and soften. When we're ready, big arm circle, up overhead, fingertips touch. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands. Now, different foot positions. Step the right foot back, heel to arch alignment, back foot 45 degrees. Straighten this front leg, square off the hips towards the front of the mat. Come onto your fingertips into your pyramid pose. Now, you might have your hands on blocks. You might even bring them to the hips. Find length wherever you are and fold forward. Really draw that left hip back. Length and soften. When we're ready, bring this back heel forward a little bit so the foot is parallel towards the back of the mat. Left hand comes to the inside of that left foot. Right hand peels towards the sky into our Trikonasana. So find a length in the spine here and revolve. Now hand can come to the shin, up to the knee, up to the thigh, wherever you need to be able to revolve easily and not collapse in the chest. So try and get a nice straight line from that tailbone to the crown of the head as we revolve from the navel center towards the top of the room. 2 more breaths here, just savoring the sensation. Lean back a little bit. That'll help you get a bigger stretch and release. When we're ready, we're going to bend this front knee, send this front hand in front of us, the left hand in front of us, spiral the top hand down in front of us. Launch off these back toes coming into a standing splits. So the crown of the head goes towards the ground, nose comes towards the knee, and toes go towards the sky. Hips are parallel, kind of squared off to the mat. So they're facing down, not stacked on top of one another. So length here, reach that leg a little bit higher and soften. Length and soften. Now when we're ready, we're going to bend this front knee just a little bit, micro bend, plank, grow, put weight into all 4 corners of the feet. Hands come to our chest and come up into our warrior 3. Toes are flexed. To really shoot energy out of the crown of the head here. You might shoot the hands forward as well. Breathe here. And when we're ready, we're going to come on up. Fingertips come towards the sky and try not to put the right toes on the ground, but if you can, that's absolutely fine. And we're going to send the right hand back, grab these right toes behind us. Now we might stay here in easy dancer, or we might come forward into full dancer. pushing into that foot, lifting ourselves high. Beautiful. Gently release that foot. Lower down, both hands come high, fingertips touch, a little back bend, and hands come back to center. 2 breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. When we're ready, one more big inhale, big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands. Left foot comes back 45 degrees, heel to heel. Pyramid pose, straighten that front leg. Find a length. Now hands can come to the hips as we fold. Length and fold. Draw that right hip back. Have a slight micro bend in the knee so we're not overextending if you feel any pain or pinching there. And just allow the upper back to soften and release. Now get this left hand or right hand on the inside of the right foot. Now heel comes in a little bit, back foot parallel to the back edge of the mat. We're going to peel ourselves open, really open ourselves up to the left into Trikonasana. Reach that left hand high. It's a beautiful stretch on this hip. Instead of collapsing down on the chest, we're leaning back. So imagine we're leaning this left shoulder over to the back side of the room. Breathing here, nice long spine, big smile on our face, gaze goes high, and breathe. Now when we're ready, we're going to bend this front knee, send our right hand down, spiral our left hand down as well. Have them in front of us, core is on, really ground down through our right foot, lift these back toes up into our splits. So hips are parallel to the ground, toes are reaching high, nose coming towards the knee, and the neck is just releasing. Just let all the weight of the world literally just melt off the shoulders. Now you can stay here, and you can even just play here, lifting the toes off the ground if this is a bit much for you. And we're going to try play into our warrior 3. So come up onto the fingers, activate the core, nice slight bend on that right knee, hands come to heart center. Now we're going to play coming into our warrior 3, slight bend in that front knee, hands to heart center, core is on, nice and strong, toes flex towards the ground. Woo! You might send the hands forward as well. When ready, rise on up. Try not to let the left toes touch the ground, but if you can, want to, that's fine. Send the left hand behind us, grab the left toes, keep that right hand high, easy dancer. Ground down into all 4 corners of the feet. Send the right hand forward, the left toes and hand back. Beautiful. When we're ready, we're gently going to come on down and release. Big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch. Little back bend and hands back to heart center. 2 breaths, length and soften. Length and soften. Actually, just take 2 more breaths here, just connecting. Notice the sensations of both feet connecting to the earth, the equalness of the balance side to side. More ready, we'll take 1 big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch, and exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands to the right foot back into a lunge this time. Now we can come down onto the knees if we need. We're going to really activate the core, open up the collarbone, sweep the hands forward and up into a low lunge or high lunge. Find length and soften. Length and soften. We're going to reach this right hand high, bring this right elbow over this left knee, open up the chest. Really revolve here, big smile on our face. If we fall out, that's okay. Squeeze the hips into the midline, bend that front knee, open up the crown of the head towards the front of the room. And when we're ready, we're going to rise on up into our crescent lunge once more. So nice. Send the hands wide. Frame our front foot and go through our flush. Plank, chaturanga, cobra or upward facing dog. Make your way either into child's pose for 3 breaths or downward facing dog for 3 breaths. Your choice. Fill up the belly wherever we are and release. Fill up the belly wherever we are and release. Send the hips high if we are in child's. Just really send the tailbone towards the sky, chest towards the thighs. We're going to bend the knees, look towards the hands, pull back, step, walk or jump up. into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold, bend the knees, roll on up, big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch. And back to heart center, 2 breaths, length. And soften. Length. And soften. Next, inhale, big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold, bend the knees, plant the hands, left foot back this time, low or high lunge, opening up the chest towards the front of the room, collarbones wide, big smile on our faces. Zip the hands forward and up into our crescent lunge, hold here. Now if we're high, really activate this back kneecap, squeeze it, push this back heel away, make sure we can see our front big toe. We're going to lengthen this left elbow, cross it over the right knee, gaze goes towards the right, hips squeeze into the midline so we're not sticking our glute out to the side, kneecap still active, pushing away, pushing into that front big toe. So nice. And when we're ready, rise on up. Ooh. There we go, rise on up. Sweep the hands, frame the front foot. It's all about balance today, guys, and go through your flow. Plank, chaturanga, cobra, or upward facing dog, and you can make your way into either child's pose or downward facing dog for 3 breaths. Find what you need in your body. Fill up the body with energy and soften. Fill up the body with energy and soften. So good. Take one more big inhale and release. On our next inhale, we're going to walk our feet just halfway up our mat, coming into a squat. So the toes are out, the heels are in, the hips are coming towards the ground. Hands are at heart center if our heels are on the ground. If our fingers are in front of us and we're on tippy toes, that's perfect. Keep the hands there for stability. If our heels are down, press the thumb to the sternum, shoulder blades are down the back, and breathe. Wherever we are, we're doing so much good work for our hip joints, all the little interconnective muscles. We might sway side to side a little bit. Just noticing if we're putting more weight in one joint or the other. Try and get the tailbone towards the ground, the shoulder blades down the back, and the crown of the head pointing towards the sky rather than pointing towards the forward and back of the room. And when we're ready, hands go down. And simply, woo, come on down. Now come on down, legs wide. Really find our space here. Really push down the thighs, push down the knees and towards the earth. Toes flex towards our face. Hands just come beside us as we find lots of length and space in the body. Breathing here. Now when we're ready, we're going to send our right hand on our right leg, slide it down. And it might just be to our knee, it might just be to our thigh, find that space. Now let's just gently send our gaze over towards the left. Now this is before we do anything with the left hand, so we're opening up the chest and collarbones and not collapsing down. So when we're ready, we're sending this left hand high, reaching it over towards the right toes, and our gaze still stays high. So our gaze is kind of going towards the armpit and beyond. And breathe here, just gently opening up the ribs, the hips, the shoulders. So lovely. 2 more breaths. Already coming up. Slide the left hand down, gaze goes high. When you're ready, you reach the right hand over. And breathe. When you're ready, come on up. Hands go behind us, walk them behind us. I'll turn this way so you can see me. Bring the feet in, hands behind us. We're going to come up into reverse bridge. So just send our hips high to the sky, shoulder blades down the back, tailbone tucked, glutes squeezed together, knees squeezed together. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll on down onto the mat in your own way, in your own time, and release. Take 2 beautiful breaths here, just really savoring the sensations. When ready, heels come towards the glutes. into our big toes. Hands come beside the hips. We can grab the mat or we can get ready to clasp them at our lower back. Come up into our bridge pose, chin towards chest. Send our shoulder blades underneath our back if we want to, clasping the hands, and breathe here. You can play here with your breath, coming up onto the tippy toes and lowering the heels down on your exhale if that feels good for you. Just adding a little bit more dynamic movement into the options if you like. If you want to add even more dynamic movements, you can send one leg up and then down, sending the hips higher. One leg up and then down. Play here. Just find your movement. Find what feels authentic to you. And already we'll release the hands, roll on down and release. Soles of the feet together, knees wide, hands on one chest, on the chest. We don't have multiple chests. The chest and the belly. And just find your connection to your breath. Start to slow down again. Starting to find that balance between effort and effortlessness. The energetic, the masculine, the yang and the yin. The creating space and letting go. Finding balance between the light and the dark, the time for rest and the time for creativity, work and play. And you can stay here or you can send the legs long. You can have the hands beside the body. You can do whatever you want. It's your practice. And when we're ready, bring one knee into the chest and then the other. Give ourselves a hug here, rock side to side. And the legs high to the sky, point the toes, flex the toes, roll the ankles. Just move. You might roll the hips in one way and then the other. You can take happy baby if that feels good for you here as well. You might shake out the legs. Just take any movements that feel intuitive for your body today. And when we're ready, gently roll on over onto a side that suits you and come up into a seated position. We'll take one big arm circle all together, up, overhead, fingertips touch, and back to heart center. Sending you lots of love and gratitude, beautiful yogis. Namaste.